Okay, everybody. Um, Today we are going to do something that I call pass win, or it can be used as pass fail. And this is a marketing event takes, that takes Dr. Singer's uniqueness that we're out in the public and promoting, which is the three things that make us so unique is the fact that we're looking for adrenal gland insufficiency, toxicity. Um, we're looking for people who are overweight or obese, and we're looking for pain. So this is something that I call pass win, and this is an alternative to a marketing event that you could do where you would typically do a massage chair. So this works great at town days. What I have noticed in my 22-year career is that people love to test themselves. So if they come across a table or at an event where they are challenged to find out how healthy or how sick they are. So we used to do pass fail, and one of my colleagues had mentioned, that's kind of negative. So we would basically see, as you can see on screen, we would test you. How toxic are you? Um, you know, uh, are you stressed out? And we had a picture of a guy who was really stressed out. So a lot of people were walking by and they were like, you know what? You don't have to test me for me to tell you that I'm stressed. I am very stressed out, and I am toxic because I'm sitting here. I'm eating the zeppoli here at the Italian Fest. So don't test me right now. So doing it, changing it to pass win, where they have the opportunity to test themselves and win prizes. That was the winning formula. So now, what could they win? What can they win? So because I have a wellness center, I'm able to have them win massages or personal training sessions or facials. Um, so the question is, what do you have to offer that people will be interested in? And even if it is just a half hour massage, people would love to win that. People would love to take the opportunity to come in and take advantage of that. So this is the kind of the table that I would have advertised. You can see it says pass win, and there are four tests that I'm going to run people through. You know what? I have to let me see if I see the one form. That's really important. I mean, I don't think that's there. We have the table, but we don't have the form. The form is of critical importance, and basically, what that form is so when you set up the table and you have the event. We also do, so this is set up, the way it's displayed here is actually in my atrium of my building for demonstration purposes. And frankly, we bring this out every once in a while, and we use this for gym members that are traveling past, spa goers, or patients who maybe we've never done this on. Though that would be rare if they're on the medical side. But outside at a town day, we would have actually the velvet ropes and they say enter and exit. We make a big show about it, and people, something about velvet ropes and balloons, believe it or not, that attract people right over to you. So, and once they see pass win, so basically you want to have somebody who is just standing by the enter sign and speaking to people as they walk by. And the simple script is, do you want to see how healthy you are and win prizes? And people are like, well, I'm not very healthy. Well, if you're even just a little bit healthy, you might be able to win some massages, such as massages or facials. Oh, okay, great. What do we have to do? Here's a clipboard. Just go ahead and fill out your name and your email, and that's it. Just get online. We're going to put you through the four tests. How long does it take? Oh, it takes about 5 minutes to find out how healthy you are. Okay, what kind of test are you going to do? Well, they'll explain everything to you. So boom. So you have one person who's the greeter, and that greeter's job is to just go ahead and get people online with a clipboard filling out the information. We usually give away, especially at a town day, we give away those little drawstring bags. We found a manufacturer who makes them, with Soul Focus tagged and our bags for 99 cents a piece. So when we go to a town day, no kidding, we'll buy 1,000 and spend $1,000. A lot of the town days cost $50 to $100 to rent the table. So That's a lot of money. But I will tell you one thing is that by the end of the day, every kid, most of the adults are wearing our bags. So when you go to town days and there's several chiropractors there or several acupuncturists, physical therapists, or wellness centers, it's it's great when they go to other people's tents with your bag. So anyway, and in that bag, you're going to fill all kinds of promotional items. So they're taking that bag home, and at a town day, they need a bag like that. They put them on their backs. They put all kinds of garbage inside. So it's not something that they're going to throw away. It's something that's going to make it into their house. And of course, you're putting your brochure and whatever coupons or discounts that you're offering and current promotions inside the bag, so it makes it home with them. So now they get online and and by the way, if you're going to hand out those bags or anything that you're going to hand out, that's going to be in addition to the greeter. Sometimes you could have the greeter do both, but you really just want the greeter greeting and pulling people in and on the line. So the first test that they're going to do at the pass-win table is we test for adrenal gland insufficiency. So, and the form, which what we'll do is we'll attach this form and send it to you with the recording of this webinar, so you have an idea of what the form looks like. Now, the form is 2-ply, and basically at the bottom, in the middle section of the form, they're going to put their data capture, their name and their email. Now, you definitely want to have the greeter or the person who is doing the first test verify that the information is legible, because you're going to immediately take this and bring this and put this into your email list at home, back at the office when you get there. Not to mention, if you start this patient up or if you book them for an appointment, you want to make sure that you have good contact information for them. And it's simply saying, okay, and you have to look at it anyway because you're going to address them to do the first test. So, Mary, that's great, Mary. Now, is that Mary101@AOL.com? Yes, it is. Okay, great. Thanks, Mary. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to take your first test. I would like you to sit down, and we have a chair at the end of the table there, sitting there with a blood pressure cuff. Now, this blood pressure cuff needs to be digital, especially if you're at a town day. You can't bring a normal manual cuff and a stethoscope. You won't be able to hear anything. So you need to have a digital one. And my suggestion to you is that you get one on a stand, on rollers, that make it's a more professional presentation. And you get a high-end digital one. And always, always, always have backup batteries. So you're going to take the person's blood pressure, both seated and standing. Now, it takes a couple of minutes. You ask them not to speak when they are getting their blood pressure, because it could throw off the readings. But you are able to speak, and you speak to them, and you explain to them what this test means. Well, your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys, and they are responsible for a number of time-released hormones. And these hormones dictate whether or not you function properly. It gives you your normal energy level. So someone who has a problem with adrenal gland insufficiency, they're going to have fatigue. They'll have difficulty sleeping, not falling asleep, but staying asleep. They'll wake up at the same time every night. They might be tired at 9 a.m. in the morning and wide awake at 11 p.m. at night. They may crave sweet and salty foods. They may have inexplicable irritability. If they're a female, they may have an irregular cycle with bad PMS symptoms. And the list goes on, and I read that right off of the brochure that you see that we have on screen right now. So I have those brochures handy, and if I should forget some of the symptoms, I just go ahead and open them, and I show them the brochure. I ask them if they have any of these symptoms, and 9 times out of 10, they will say yes. So immediately I'm going to get a reading, and I'm going to write the reading down on the form. So the form above the data capture, which is in the middle, above that you have tests 1, 2, 3, and 4. To the right of those tests, it says pass or fail, and you basically just going to check off one of those boxes. So the first box, number 1, is the adrenal gland insufficiency test, and it's basically what it says on the form. It says, are you stressed out, or how stressed you are? Are you? Pass and fail. I'm going to write down the blood pressure, that reading I just got with the patient sitting. As soon as it's done, I'm going to tell them to stand up. Please, no speaking still. I'm going to turn the machine off, turn it back on, and take another blood pressure reading. At this point, they may have told me in the process of standing up which one of the symptoms that they've had, and I'll speak to them specifically about those symptoms. I'll tell them that your adrenal glands, that now that they're quiet again, they're standing, and I'm taking the blood pressure reading. I'm telling them, well, your adrenal glands burn out for 3 reasons, typically, either too much stress, too much caffeine, or too much sugar. And in our society, it's usually a trifecta. The way to correct this is to take B vitamins, employ stress reduction techniques, and you speak about what you do in your office. Meanwhile, you take the other reading. You let them know that your mercury going from seated to standing should increase by 10 millimeters of mercury. So the systolic, the normal 120 over 80, they all know what that is. You tell them the 120 is what we're looking at here. We're really not looking to see if their blood pressure is normal, though we're looking at that too, but we're looking to see that when they go from a seated position to a standing position, that the 120, the systolic, goes up by 10 millimeters of mercury. Why? That's what's supposed to happen. And the reason why is that when you go from a seated position to a standing position, your heart needs to pump harder to offset the effects of gravity and get enough oxygen to your brain. If you have ever stood up too quickly and gotten dizzy, that's an indication that your adrenal glands are not working. Now, what is supposed to happen, that when you go from a seated position to a standing position, your adrenal glands fire adrenaline, and adrenaline goes to your heart and causes your heart to pump harder, which in turn gets more blood to your brain so that it offsets the effect of gravity and you don't get dizzy. It just shows here, Mary, that when I took your blood pressure seated and then had you stand, that your blood pressure, your 120, did not go up at all. 120, which tells me that your adrenal glands are not functioning properly. Now, what could have been worse, Mary, is that if your blood pressure actually went down and it was 120, but when we took it, with you standing, it went down to 110. That tells me the adrenal glands are severely damaged, and there's a problem there. So it's something that we need to talk about. Okay, Mary, you're done with this test, and on to the second test. Mary goes. That second test, we do a chemical toxicity test. Now, it depends how many people you expect to be at this town day or how many people you expect to be there. I would suggest having one designated person to do the blood pressure testing. Sometimes I have 2, depending upon how busy we are, with 2 separate digital blood pressure stands. You only need one person to handle this, which is the toxicity testing. And basically, you have these little pH strips, which are in those canisters, and you have you ask people to go ahead. Oh, by the way, going back to the adrenal gland insufficiency, we have handouts that we give to the patient if they fail the adrenal gland insufficiency. That has a list of things that they can do to decrease adrenal gland insufficiency and things that would increase it. With toxicity, we have a list of foods that and where they sit on the pH scale. So you can see the handout there below the canisters. That's got the pH scale with 7 in the middle and going up and down. It shows you what foods are in which food group, so people can go home, put that on their fridge, and try to eat more of an alkalinic diet. Now, why do they want to do that? Because we've given the pH strip. You put that on their tongue with the strip side down on their tongue. You get them to put a little saliva on it. You warn them if they just had coffee or something to eat within 30 minutes, it may skew the results, but it doesn't stop them from taking it. It just gives them an excuse why they're so acidic, even though they're probably acidic anyway. You take out the strip and you match it up to the color on the canister. So then you explain to patients that you say, or prospective patients, you say that just like taking the pH of a pool, you don't want your body to be too acidic. Why? Because degenerative diseases, including cancer being the biggest one, thrive in an acidic environment. In fact, it's like the Mucinex commercial I tell people at a screening. You ever see that Mucinex commercial where it just takes up shop and it loves that environment? It sets up a tent. You know, that's the type of environment that degenerative diseases like, an acidic type of environment. So you want to be more alkalinic, which on the flip side now, so pH that's less than 7, 6.5 or lower, you're acidic. On the flip, and dangerous, and could have degenerative diseases running through your body. On the flip side, if you have a pH of 7.4 or greater, degenerative diseases, cancer cannot live in that environment. So what that means is that if you have cancer cells floating throughout your body and you have an alkalinic environment, they will not survive. So how important is it to have an alkalinic diet and be more alkalinic than acidic? Very. So how do you do that? It's green leafy vegetables. At our office, we have nutrition programs and detox programs to help hit the reset button for your metabolism so that you can become more of an alkalinic person than acidic. So you failed this test as well, Mary. Failed the adrenals and I mark that off on the clipboard. Then I say, okay, Mary, we're all done with this test. Let's move on to test number 3. And I pass the clipboard down. Now, test number 3, I'm going to take their BMI. So you can see I have 2, and that's what I have on my table, so I can test 2 people at once. Handheld BMI testers. They're battery operated. Again, you want to make sure that you have backup batteries for that and your digital blood pressure taker, because you never. And also, if you get a weird reading, it could be because the batteries are going, and I'll tell you, people know what their blood pressure is, so they'll give it to you. So you quickly change the batteries and let them know that you got a Series 6. This is no over-the-counter blood pressure medication, blood pressure monitor. I apologize if it's off. Could be the batteries. Let's go ahead and test it again. If it comes out askew again with new batteries, you better be concerned and make sure that they're concerned as well, and let them know that go to their local CVS or their doctor and test it manually to double check. I wish I could do it for you here. I can't. I wouldn't be able to do it effectively because I can't hear, which is why we have digital ones to begin with, but something to be concerned with. So now with the BMI testers, you're going to plug in a little information. It'll lead you through it, like the patient's age, their weight. What else does it ask? Their gender. And they're going to hold it out front on the sensors, and then within a couple of minutes, you're going to have their body mass index. And on the form that we have, it shows what body mass index should be. And it gives you, it basically has 3 boxes where normal is, then low, and then high, and then very high. So overweight is the box just to the right of normal, and then just to the right of overweight is obese. And I think it's 26 or 24, I forget what is considered obese, but it's on the form. So you're going to simply look at this, and you know what? It's not going to be a surprise to most people. The only person it's really going to be a surprise to is that huge, ripped bodybuilder, because their BMI will never be normal. When graded against the average, they have too much weight per mass. It's all muscle though. So, and they'll laugh. They know already. They'll do it and they'll laugh with you. Like, it's not gonna be normal. So it's gonna say I'm obese, and it's sure enough, it does. But so that's a false positive, and I wouldn't fail them for that on the form. I'd put down pass or leave it blank, and let them know that and again, that's kudos to them. It's almost like a pat on the shoulder. Good job. So that's test number 3. So again, just to review thus far, we've done adrenal gland insufficiency with orthostatic blood pressure taken in both a seated and a standing position with a digital blood pressure monitor. The second test we did is the toxicity testing, which is very easy to do. It's a strip test, saliva test, and you just match it up against the colors on the canister to see whether or not they are acidic or alkalinic. Most everybody is acidic. And then the third test here we just did, which is BMI. And again, you use the battery-operated BMI testers, and you're able to see whether or not they are in line weight-wise. So the last test that we do is something that we call the nose to toes. So then we hand the clipboard over. Now, the person who does the nose to toes does not need to be a physician. But they do need to be a maximizer. When I say that is you can't let people just laugh off their aches and pains as you're going through it with them from nose to toes. You have to start they have to see on your face that you're not laughing. That's pretty serious. So like the nose to toes is basically you just stand there and you look at the person and you explain to them that you do a lot of things and this is what we call the nose to toes. I'm just going to ask you if you have any ailments or problems or pains or complaints in any of the areas that I'm about to ask you. Okay? They say yes. You say, you look at them. You say, do you have any headaches? No. Well, I get it. How many headaches do you get a year? More than 3? Yeah, I'd say about 8. Okay? Don't stay on it. You have visual disturbances, you have hearing loss, you have TMJ, do you have neck pain, do you have shoulder pain, do you have numbness and tingling in the shoulders, arms, hands, or fingers, do you have breathing problems because we treat asthma or we have allergy programs, do you have digestive disorders, do you have rib pain, do you have upper back pain, middle back pain, lower back pain? Do you have hip pain? Do you have any clicking of the joints? Any problems in your knees? Any numbness and tingling in your lower back, into your buttocks, your legs, your feet, your toes? And you go nose to toes. Now, they're going to be, got that, got that, got that. Now, when they're done, you say, which of these would be the worst? And you repeat everything that you just said. And when you're done repeating everything, okay, headaches, neck pain, numbness and tingling in the right hand, low back pain, right knee pain, ankle pain. God, you got a lot of things going on. Yes, I do, Doc. I guess I got more than I do. Which one's the worst? If you get rid of one of these and I had a magic wand, well, I guess it would be the neck pain. Okay, well, either way, I got to tell you, you failed this test. And looking at your form here, you failed 3 of my 4 tests. Now, Doc, I never heard of these tests before. Well, that's because these tests are health tests. You go to the doctor when you're sick, they do tests to find out how sick you are. These tests are to find out how healthy you are and are highly indicative of someone's overall health. Now, if you have any questions about these tests, the reason for why I did these tests and what they mean, there's all written on the bottom of this form. This is 2-ply. I rip it in half. I go, this is your copy. Now, we are offering a complimentary consultation to all those people that mess up these tests. By the way, you did pass one test, and for one test, you get a complimentary massage, 30-minute massage in our office, if that's of interest to you. You know what? Don't quote me. I forget what the prizes are. I'll have to look what the prizes are but the prizes are good. Things that people would want. I think it was the first was a personal, if you passed one test, you got a personal training, free personal training session for 30 minutes. With an in-body assessment, which is a body mass assessment. The second, if you win past 2, you got a free facial or a free massage. If you pass 3, you got something even greater. I forget what it was. And if you passed all 4, you got all 4 prizes. But no one does that. And if we have one person in an entire day of 150 people that pass all 4, that's a lot. But either way, what you're giving them is an opportunity to come into your office. So if I'm unable to close them, so Mary, you failed 3 out of my 4 tests. We are offering a complimentary consultation to those people here that we're meeting that are failing all of our tests. Mary, you failed 3. I don't have enough appointments complimentary, which we're donating our time as doctors. Have you heard of us, Mary? We're in the area of 20 years donating towards the community. And one of the things that brings us here today is we belong to a nonprofit organization. It's a 501c3 of doctors. It's a collection of doctors across the country who donate their time to the community, like we are here today trying to help educate our public on different health topics. Today, we're trying to help our community that we live and work in from dying. Mary, you are dying. Now, of course, I'm kidding, and at this point, I would have had to build up rapport with her in saying that. But I do want her to take it seriously that these tests are not good. And I'd say, Mary, your pH is down, and you're acidic and degenerative diseases. Do you have any history of cancer in your family? These things. If you do, you just want to do the best that you can to help prevent yourself from getting sick. Now, in America, we lead all other countries in the world in every disease. And it's because of the way we take care of ourselves. So, Mary, with other people, I'm giving them the option if they want to come in to see us for the complimentary exam. For you, I'm really saying I'm strongly advising it. Mary, hold on one second. Mary, this is Jessica. Jessica, this is Mary. Mary, Jessica, can you set up Mary for consultation to come see me, please? Uh, okay, Dr. Raj. Yeah, Mary, are you gonna listen? Don't do this for me though. Do this for you. Do you want to come in? If I, oh well, you know what, Doc? I'm not sure. Okay, Mary, here's my card. When you're ready to get healthy, please call me. When your pain gets to a point, the headaches, the neck pain, the right knee pain, the hip pain, the numbness and pain in the lower back, when that gets to a point that it's bothering you and you can't take it anymore, please come see me. I'd love to help you. Okay, doctor. You know what? You know what? Maybe I will take that consultation. Well, they're only complimentary for next week, Mary. I'll make time for you. The question is, are you going to make time for yourself? Okay, you know what? I will take it. Wait a second, Mary. Don't take an appointment from this dude behind you. Are you sure you want this? I do, Doc. Okay, great. I'll see you then. Jessica will set you up. But don't blow me off. I won't, Doc. Okay. Hope to see you. Hope we can help you. And that's how I would close somebody at an event. Now, I was just speaking about this with one of my colleagues and one of the clients, and I was saying, listen, you have to have a lot of certainty to know that what you're going to do for Mary is going to help her. So if Mary's talking about low back pain and headaches, man, I love that. And I'm going to help 95% of patients that come to me with that. If Mary's got asthma, I might not have been as strong with her. But I might have said, Mary, it's worth a shot for us to, I don't know if we can help you, but we do offer an allergy program. I would like for you to sit down with our medical department and speak with our doc to find out if this could be of something of service to you. If you could get rid of this, would you want to? Yeah, I would. Well, then you've got nothing to lose. So because we're not going to waste your time and your money. If we can help you, we can. It's a free complimentary consultation. So really, all you have to do is lose your time, but we're willing to donate our time to find out if we can help. Mary, would Monday or Wednesday work out better for you? Oh, you know what? I'm not sure I want to come in. Okay, great. Well, here, take our card. Listen, I don't want to pressure you to come in. I just get excited. I get excited when I think I can help people, and I want to find out. So here's my card. Call me whenever you're ready. I'm telling you, as soon as you back off like that, most people will say, you know what? Because they think that you're there to try to sell them something. And the moment you say, I'm not trying to sell you anything, go about your business. I'm just trying to help. It's up to you. Don't do this for me. I'm busy. I help people every day. The question is, are you going to be one of them? Or can I help you? I don't know. Don't you want to know? I want to know. And truly, this is the way I'm going to speak to somebody, because I'm going to be inside their head. And listen, again, it comes down to certainty. I love what I do. I love being able to help people. And the fact of the matter is I can help a lot more people than think that I can help them. So if I'm out at an outdoor event and people are bringing me down because I have to fight for my life to convince them that I can help them, that's not fun. So a lot of docs don't like doing screenings. And listen, it's not my favorite thing to do. I prefer to lecture. But if I'm at a screening, I'm going to make the best of it. And I'm certainly going to keep my perspective. Listen, these people don't know nothing. Anything. I do know that it's anything. I'm using that word nothing for emphasis. They don't know nothing. You went to school for many, many years to learn what we learned, and then we take it for granted that everybody knows it. So that's why the primary script, which I've done and recorded, and hopefully you've all listened to, is super, super important. You want to be able to rewire people, and they are hardwired to think drugs and surgery are the way to go. And you have another answer. You have another option. So, and the greatest question that you want to ask them is what have you tried before and has failed? And tell them that Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. If you want a different result, you're going to try something differently. But I've tried chiropractic. I've been to chiropractors before. I've done acupuncture. Have you done them together? Well, no. Why? How about PT and chiropractic together? Well, no, I thought they didn't really like each other. Well, I don't care if we don't like each other. We're only half of the job. It's the musculoskeletal system. So you got to work on the muscles and the skeleton. So maybe you went to a chiropractor. Now, chiropractors in our state can do and perform physical therapy. We have an adjunct to our license which allows us to do physical therapy. So if you've been to a chiropractor before and they only adjusted you or only performed chiropractic, that's only the skeletal. What about the musculo? True complete care, true complete musculoskeletal care includes muscles and the skeleton. So listen, chiropractic's great, but it's half the job. I'll never practice that PT again. And PT's only half the job unless it's which came first, the chicken or the egg, the muscle spasm or the misaligned bone. And really, who knows? Who cares? You got to address both. So maybe the reason why it didn't work for you is because you just you went to the wrong provider. So I don't know if I can help you. It's just I'm just saying it's worth a chance to find out. Maybe you'll benefit under our care. We've been in practice more than 20 years. We've helped so many people in our community, and that's what really gives us juice. So, would you be willing to give me the chance to find out if I could help you? And that's how I close somebody at an event. And the pass-fail works really well. And the reason why the pass-fail works so well is because it's something different. And Dr. Singer's always talking about how you want to stress that so what makes you different than the chiropractor down the street? If you're not integrated, if you're not doing PT, what makes you different are these tests. That's what makes you unique, these wellness services. The adrenal gland insufficiency that is so simple and fixes so many simple problems that people are suffering from on a daily basis. They're craving caffeine because cortisol levels are not right, because they're under stress and as a result they're fatigued. So they reach for the caffeine, which further depletes their adrenal glands. So that's what makes you unique. Toxicity, letting people know that 70% of the American's diet is preservatives. It's toxic food. You get macronutrients, you don't get your micronutrients. So as a result of that, we have diseases. So I'm testing you to find out. So this is a marketing event. So what I'll be bringing to the seminars, I know thus far this was catch up and review. The first seminar that I delivered in both Chicago and New Jersey was review. It was primary script. It was how to close at a screening and at a lecture. It was the full consult with the fear of worsening and the ruin, the financial close, the brain-body diagram, the progress report. And now, moving forward with the agendas, I'm going to hit a bunch of different topics that are not review. So this was my own little twist on doing a marketing event. I hope this was helpful. We'll be send you out that form and a couple of other handouts that we put on the table when we do this event. But moving forward, we're going to have front desk modules. We're going to talk about forming an MIA list, keeping a new patient list, how to conduct a morning huddle, the difference between being in and out of network, how to read and dissect an EOB. It's come to my attention a lot of people aren't looking at their EOBs or don't know how to read them. How to diagnosis pointing, how to appropriate diagnoses and listing them appropriately so you can speak the insurance company's language, which yields less denials and payment on first submission. Very important. I'm going to talk to you about how to create an insurance Bible. So when a patient comes in, you can look at their card and know immediately what that's worth in the way of reimbursement. How to set up an efficient front desk, soup to nuts. A bunch of different really cool areas. Eventually, I'll be talking about stem cell nutrition, weight loss, functional medicine, digital marketing, Facebook marketing. We want to take our practice management group into the 21st century. How to answer the phone, how to process phone calls. I'm going to talk about a call tracking system where you can listen to your phone calls, which is really important because, you know, when I ask you what the first impression that people have of your office, people usually say the person at the front desk. Well, that's true when they walk in, but it's the person really who answers the phone when they first call to make an appointment. They get the first impression of you, your professionalism, and your office. Case management, of course, is going to be a big part of what we're talking about in the future. Stats, keeping stats, beginners management, how to set up treatment plans. This is great. Air traffic control, or the hallway person's responsibility. The person who I like to refer to, for those of you that are old enough, as Julie from the Love Boat. She is the patient coordinator. She's the one who's responsible for their visit from the moment they step in to the moment they leave. The person who will tell you how long that patient's been there and guide them through the different services to make sure that they are treated efficiently. So there's lots to talk about, lots to lot. So the teleconferences that I'm going to be recording are going to be agenda specific. So for agenda one, and by the way, in each agenda, I'm going to bring at least one soup to nuts marketing technique that you can implement immediately after the agenda weekend. So this was Pass Win is what terminates or completes agenda one, or which is everything I just taught about the primary script, and this is the event, the close, the lecture close, the consult. So this goes with agenda one. In agenda two, I think what I will be bringing, I'm also going to be bringing in a lot of guest speakers, speaking to a number of different people, leaders in our field, a doctor who specializes in extremity adjusting. I'm speaking to a doctor who specializes in corporate wellness. So for every agenda, there will be a very specific marketing, or more than one marketing campaign, but one soup to nuts that you will see all the way through. And I'm really looking forward to it. So stay tuned. I think next week I might go into Agenda 2 teleseminars, and that might be how to read an EOB and the difference between in and out of network, and maybe diagnosis pointing in there as well. So that's it for today. Any questions from anybody? Let me go and see if people are on mute. Hold on one second. Any questions? I got Dr. Reed, both Dr. Reed, Dr. Kerr, Dr. Messina. Anyone? Okay, guys. If there are no questions, thank you very much for today. Copies will be of the recording will be sent out. And please tune in for next week. I'll see you all soon. Thanks so much.